All right, welcome to the Fredbear's Family Diner Crazy Board. You've seen these before, you know what it's like, but I'm talking exclusively about the diner because I love the diner. All right, I've got a few categories here: how the business functioned, lore, uh, miscellaneous things. That'll probably take me the most time, and speculation, which we will think about. I will move over to speculation when I say something that is not provably true. There's going to be a lot of that. There's not much about the diner. Right, so primarily we're starting over in business and whatnot. Most of the business is fairly easy to talk about. It's just Fredbear's there, Spring Bonnie's there. Those are the entertainers. It's a very small place. Until security breach, where we got some old posters for the diner, we didn't know what food they served. Not at all. You can reasonably assume that because it spawned Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria that it served pizza, but we didn't know that it served pizza until we got the ads where Fredbear is just eating pizza. Additionally, Spring Bonnie is serving milkshakes, and that poster shows off a change in menu and advertisements for that change in menu. There is also a phone number on one of those posters. We will get to that later. Back over to this. We've just got 3 separate advertisements, 4 if you count a variant on one of them from Into the Pit, which implies that the phone number is longer than it is shown on the one intact poster with it. But for the most part, yeah, it's just we don't have much advertisement about it. There's also merchandise. Most notably, we've got a couple of Fredbear plushies. Moving over to speculation for a bit, it is fully possible that the one that the crying child has is custom made because of the differing Fredbear plush down in the sister location bunker. Possibly having a walkie-talkie. I don't know how you would fit a walkie-talkie into a Fredbear plush to have it speak to your son without ripping the thing open yourself. I don't know what's going on with the Fredbear plushies. I don't care to know. It might just be a hallucination. We don't know anything about what's going on with Psychic Friend Fredbear. Leave him be. Ignore him. Back to this. There's still more merchandise to talk about. There is. Where did I put him? Plush Trap. He's relevant. He's important. There is a small Spring Bonnie plush that we can see that exactly one child has, which sort of implies that it is at least publicly sold, unlike the Fredbear plushes where we never see any random schmuck having one. Fredbear might not have any public merchandise, but Spring Bonnie does, and Spring Bonnie's plush inexplicably can pinch your fingers. So that is probably why Plush Trap exists. That is just an incredibly dangerous small toy. It might have functional spring locks, which is an absurd concept, but it's a very funny one, so I like to pretend that's the case. But that is the extent of Fredbear Family Diner's merchandise. There are toy animatronic toys. Those are important. We'll talk about them in a bit. Finally, yeah, the menu. We know that the diner serves pizza. We know that it serves milkshakes, or at least there are advertisements that show it selling pizza and milkshakes, or the characters consuming pizza and milkshakes, holding them out, whatever. It's reasonable to assume that they also sell cake because they do birthday parties, but that's speculation. That's not confirmed. We don't know. All right, over to the lore. This is primarily going to be timeline stuff. I hate the timeline. It doesn't make sense. Things are actively out of order, and after looking into all of the diner's stuff, I'm quite certain that the crying child died after the missing children's incident, and possibly after Charlie died also. It's terrible. It's bad. Let's talk about Freddy's for a second. We can tell that, thanks to the Fredbear and Friends show and assorted masks that the bullies in the diner are wearing when they go and shove the crying child into Fredbear's mouth, that the characters in Freddy's, Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie the Bunny, Chica the Chicken, Foxy the Fox, Foxy the Pirate, whatever. You can tell that those characters all exist conceptually. Those are characters that are real within Freddy's, they're real within merchandise. They exist. They're characters that are known, they're established. There's also like a Faz coin somewhere, I think in Help Wanted, that you can pick up that shows that Freddy's opened in 1983. And the diner is open in 1983. Not for long, but it is there. The diner also might have opened in the 70s. The wiki claims this, but I don't see any of their sources. I have sources for all of this. It's mostly the FNAF 4 minigames, and also some phone calls in 2 and 3. This is security breach poster. Location, whatever. So, speaking of the FNAF 4 minigames, there's a child with toys of the toy animatronics. The toy animatronics were made to replace the classic animatronics after the classic animatronics were found to have corpses in them. It's unclear, to my knowledge, if the toy animatronics replaced the classics after the classics were found to have been involved in the murders, or if it's just like the bite of 87 or whatnot. I don't know what's going on with the toy animatronics in the classics and series, but the point is the toys come after the classics, and the classics are later refurbished. Whatever. That's not my specialty. My specialty is the diner. I love the diner. I will keep saying that. I love the diner. But anyways, the toy animatronics exist, presumably after the missing children's incident, because they're made to replace the classics. The classics were where the original kids from the missing children's incident all died. So, missing children's incident happens. Classics taken out of order, toy animatronics put into production, toy animatronic toys, action figures, whatever, also put into production. So, like, what happens here? Does Freddy's immediately open? Missing children's incident happens on the spot. Classics retired immediately within the year, and then toy animatronics. It is fully possible that the toy animatronics were toys first, and then the actual animatronics were based off of the toys. That's about the only way this makes sense without messing with Freddy's having shut down within the same year it opened. It wouldn't be unheard of. Circus Baby's Pizza World, or whatever it was called, opened and then shut down the exact same day. So this would not be unusual for a Freddy's location. That's most of that. I don't know when Charlie's meant to die. I don't know if she dies at Freddy's or if she dies at the diner. It's uncertain. Moving on to miscellaneous. There's lots of stuff about the spring locks. I'm going to talk about them last. We're going to talk about the phone number for a second. The diner's phone number is 1-800-083. This is a conspicuous number. We find this on the various posters that are about the place, security breach, Into the Pit. You can call this phone number in Into the Pit, and that's very important because it doesn't direct to the diner. It directs to Freddy's. So at some point, Freddy's took over the diner's phone number. I don't know why they do this. I don't know when this happens. Into the Pit is really hard to say it is canon to the rest of the games because it started as a book. It's nice. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Not much about the diner though, which is of course the thing I'm focused on right now. So phone number presumably becomes the Freddy's phone number at some point. Hard to say when, hard to say why. There's no real indication of when it happens, but phone guy's there. It might be Ralph. There's a lot of possible phone guy issues there. Different voice, whatever. I'm not talking about Into the Pit. Simple thing. Location. The diner is within walking distance of the Afton residence. If you consider that Midnight Motorist's house is another Afton house, then they moved after the bite of 83, where the crying child dies, but But that's assuming that Midnight Motorist is about the Afton family and is not unrelated stuff. It's probably about the Aftons. But who cares? Plush Trap, we talked about him. I'm gonna go back to Fredbear and Spring Bonnie for a second. Fredbear as a character is referred to with he, him. Spring Bonnie is referred to with it, its. In FNAF World's flavor text, which I like. I like Spring Bonnie. It's wonderful. Back to spring locks for a second. Spring locks are not uncommon. There's a lot of these things. It's not just Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. And there's probably duplicates, too. So, like, you obviously have Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. You know those two. They're decent. They're comprehensible. You wind back the spring locks, you put a person inside, whatever. That's the spring lock suit. We all know them. There are 2 unknown employees that put on the Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits in the FNAF 4 minigames. It's possible that one of these is Henry. We don't know. We don't know what Henry looks like. We know that William wasn't one of the 2 employees getting into those suits because he's helping them into them. Henry could be anywhere. He's an enigma. So, those are at the diner. Edwin Murray's Costume Manor or whatever, they start making additional spring locks for the diner upon request. But when finishing them, the diner says, no, we don't want them, and decides, I'd rather not have these safer spring locks. I don't know why they do this. It makes no sense. They've already ordered them, presumably they've already paid for them, but they don't want them. Additionally, there are spring locks in at least 2 Freddy's locations. There are 2 that are mentioned in a FNAF 3 phone call, which are mentioned to be in a Freddy's location specifically. It's possible that this was referring to the diner and it was in the process of being absorbed as per the phone number, but that's speculation. There's also a spring lock suit that would have been used, or presumably would have been used, in Circus Baby's Party World, Pizza World. You see it in the Night 4 minigame. Its faceplate's open. This could have been one of the ones used in Freddy's. I don't think it was Spring Bonnie or Fredbear. But we don't know, and Scott Cawthon refuses to confirm it for us, so we're just going to assume it's a different character here. We are assuming. That is about it on the spring locks. Except the Bite of 83 was probably not a spring lock failure, so probably not the one that got the spring locks taken out of use. This is important because the Fredbear suit, which bit down on the crying child, was not in spring lock mode. It was in suit mode. Not suit mode. It was in robot mode. It was in animatronic mode. So, that's not a spring lock failure, though it is possible to refer to it as one because it is a spring lock suit that is failing, even if it is not currently used as a spring lock suit. It's just robots. It's a mess. That's the diner. If I've gotten anything wrong or if I'm missing anything and you have sources, and if you're not the wiki just telling me things, because the wiki doesn't source anything. I know where I'm getting all of this from. You can ask where I'm getting any of it from. Majority of it's FNAF 4 minigames, end of night minigames. Some of it's phone calls from 2 and 3. There's a little bit from Security Breach. There's a little bit from Into the Pit. There is, unfortunately, a bit from Secret of the Mimic, which I don't like. I don't like Secret of the Mimic. At all. I don't like the Mimic. I don't like what it stands for. I don't like Edwin. Yeah, that's it. Feel free to ask about. I can answer any questions if I have any information. The real crux of the matter is entirely the toy animatronics in the classics here. Why are there toy animatronic toys? How quickly did the classics go out of production? When did the missing children's incident take place? It's probably before the crying child died. That's it. That's the major revelation here. Everything else is superfluous and just fun. This is the important bit. Missing children's incident, then crying child dies. It's awful. There's no hope. Don't think about it too hard.